They were concerned because Chinese government was not revealing the nature and number of fatalities that happened at Galwan conflict.
But in China, they uncovered the stories behind, and the name of their dead soldiers were never released, and they hide every details.
These dissenting voices fell in three different categories. First consisted of thinkers, strategists, and journalists of Chinese origin. The another was of people living in mainland China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. And the third group consisted of strong expats network of Chinese people living outside. They were of the opinion that China should exercise restraint in these activities because they reflect bad on Chinese administration. Apart from that, they also said that China should consider the invisible third party, which is US, and its repercussions. The second group consisted of people in China mainland. They were concerned because Chinese government was not revealing the nature and number of fatalities that happened at Galwan conflict.
For instance, Indian government has honored 20 dead soldiers and they were become as a national hero. But in China, they uncovered the stories behind, and the name of their dead soldiers were never released, and they hide every details. And many netizens, they want to know every details, and they discuss it very intensively in social media platforms.
Besides that, they were also of opinion that India and Russia are coming closer, and the ties between India and China are weakening.
There were some dissenting voices on Weibo and other platforms, but those voices were lost in larger conversation between Chinese social media users. And broadly, what has happened is some of the users have tried to attack people who ask dissenting questions. And what has happened since is that, some people who raise questions about PLA casualties have been asked that this will bring misfortune on you. This is something you should not bring up, and you should listen to your own government about what is happening on the border with India.
However, the betweenness centrality of 0.3 reveals an interesting thing, that they are not organized protests. These clusters are independent of each other and they have genuine voices of dissent. So if these clusters come together and get more connected with better betweenness centrality, it would actually mean a lot of cross connection, and thus these voices will become very dominant voices of protest. In social network analytics, the transition from protest to revolution happens when betweenness centrality increases. So this can be a concern to China.
Many of Chinese netizens and nationals discuss about the borders, and some of them claim that from India's side, Indian soldiers trespass their borders and they need to teach some lesson to Indian soldiers, as well as some claims that New Delhi is not so far, as if it shows that they are ready for a war.
The other trend that has emerged on Chinese social media has been about the ban imposed by India on Chinese apps, and people are widely discussing that actually. The hashtag India bans 59 Chinese apps was the second top trend on Baidu, which is the equivalent of the Google search engine in China. And it also trended heavily on Weibo. So this has taken over the broader trend about the conflict with India, and now the conversation is happening in the domain of economy and society. And therefore, social media users are trying to make sense of what is happening, really.